what's up, everybody? Welcome to conversation number 21 and the Kristof Lewis podcast. My guest today is the amazing Evan Carmichael. If you don't know who he is already, he is an author, he is an international speaker, he is a YouTuber, he's an entrepreneur, he's the founder of evancarmichael.com, and a plethora of other amazing things. And I couldn't be more thankful for him to be on the show today. His YouTube has nearly 1.5 million subscribers. Incredible. He is a huge advocate of believing in yourself and being passionate about what you want to do in life and getting after it. Does that sound like the perfect guest for the show? I'm pretty sure it does. I couldn't be more happy for him to be here today. Evan, thank you so much and welcome to the show.
Pump, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's incredible. As I mentioned in the introduction, you are a man of many talents, and you're doing absolutely amazing things, empowering people, helping people believe in themselves and really find their stride in life. And I couldn't be more excited for you to be here speaking with me today and be able to pass on your story through everyone that listens to this podcast.
Cool, man. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you get started in doing, I mean, it's so easy for people to see you today, seeing what you're doing, a huge YouTube following. How does someone get started doing what you're doing? I mean, obviously, I feel like, in my own opinion, you are a very impassioned person. You've probably had this mindset for quite a while now. But how do you get started doing this?
So, I encourage people to go back on the channel because what you're seeing now is a unfair representation for somebody who's just getting started.
Absolutely.
I've done 5,000 plus videos. Not all of them are public, but you get better at something after you've done it 5,000 times. You go 5,000 episodes of your podcast, it'll get better, right? I wasn't very good at speaking. You can watch my early videos, and I'm embarrassed, and I'm thinking, and I'm not very passionate and worried about saying the perfect words. I got started without the ambition to be a huge YouTuber. I got started before YouTube was even a thing. Like being a YouTube influencer was not a thing. I got started for two reasons. One, I'm a visual learner, and I prefer watching a video over anything else. Reading a book would be second, and listening to a podcast would be third, because audio is the worst for me in terms of learning.
Yeah.
And so I wanted to make videos that would help inspire other entrepreneurs as well as myself, telling the stories of famous entrepreneurs. And also, as I was having some success, people would write into me with their questions around business, and I'd be super humbled and flattered that people would want my perspective on something. Yeah. And I would spend 30, 40 minutes writing a detailed email back. And as those continued to grow, I thought making a video is probably better, that I can help that person as well as anybody else with that same problem. I didn't expect it to get millions of views, but if 100 people had that same problem and watched the video, it's helping. And so
absolutely.
Just leverage my time a little bit more. So that's how I got started. And as it became bigger, then I turned it into a much bigger role of what I was doing in my business and helping me accomplish my mission.
Sure. So it sounds like
the beginnings very humble.
Absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. So you started like your business venture and your entrepreneurship via YouTube, or was there something prior to that? Or was YouTube the thing that launched you into business and everything else that you're doing now?
Oh, no. So I had my first real business I had when I was 19. It was a biotech software company.
Okay.
Sucked at it. But eventually turned around, built it up to having customers in 30 countries, NASA, Johnson & Johnson, sold it, became a venture capitalist at 22, was helping raise $500,000 to $15 million for companies that wanted to grow.
Wow.
Then I started being asked to do speaking because I'd sold my business at 22, this kind of young entrepreneur success story thing. So I spoke around the world, then launched my website, had a huge content of archive of articles around helping entrepreneurs.
Sure.
I was really in the publishing business. We had 5,000 people writing for the website. That transitioned to the YouTube channel, which I guess you know me from. That transitioned to also writing books. And that's where we are today.
Yeah, absolutely. Just one thing stemmed off another. And a good point you made earlier. One thing that obviously hits home to me being a newer YouTuber slash podcaster is that you said, 5,000 times you just went out there and you weren't a really good speaker. I still wouldn't consider myself the best speaker. I make fun of myself all the time, eating my words, not really articulating myself the best I want to, but this is podcast number 21. And then by the time I've gotten here, to see the progression just over 21 is amazing. So I'm glad to hear someone like yourself that's done so many things tell the listeners that, hey, even me, obviously, it takes a lot of learning and a lot of tries and failures and all this to get to somewhere that you're comfortable putting out content consistently in such a manner to where you're confident in what you're saying, and being able to get your point across as best possible. And obviously is very attractive in the sense of people can understand what you're saying. And especially another thing that hit home with me is the visual learning. That's why initially I started on podcasts on YouTube, because I like watching people speak. I want somebody to envision themselves almost in the corner watching me and you have a conversation, just listening to somebody like that. And then, of course, it's spread over to iTunes and Podbean as well. But YouTube will always be there. I enjoy that aspect of it, so I can definitely see where you're coming from with building that up. And yeah, I actually first, it's funny that I initially found you on Instagram, much like I find a few people, and then I went over to your YouTube and I was thoroughly impressed with everything you're doing there. And now that I've had this conversation with you, I can go and I can do more research, because I don't like learning too much about my guests, of course, because I want to get to know you as I talk to you. But the things that you're doing there are absolutely incredible. There's a multitude of playlists. Anybody could find anything that they're doing. And another thing I noticed you're obviously doing is, I'm not sure if you refer to it as the summit that's coming up in the next month or so, but you're putting out again, you said you're talking to somebody in person and you're able to mentor people in person. So what is that you're doing coming up here soon?
So I've got a workshop that I do twice a year. The next one is September 3rd to 5th. I don't know when this is going to air on your channel. But the idea is to help thought leaders. So this isn't for everybody. This is not a general entrepreneurship 101 course. It's for people who want to be thought leaders. So for people who want to have a YouTube channel and a podcast,
sure,
and get book deals and get speaking gigs and launch courses, helping them make money from their mission.
Absolutely.
So I think there's a lot of people who have a mission, who want to do something big, who want to share their expertise, but they don't know how to monetize it. And so the goal of the 3-day workshop is for me to help them. It's 15 people max. It's 10 to 15 people who show up.
Sure.
Help them, guide them through that process. Day one is just knowledge transfer. It's like everything that I'm doing on my social channel. So you want to learn about YouTube? I'll break down everything that I do on my YouTube channel, to rank videos, to plan videos, to to optimize them, to get people watching them, all of that, like the behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, that's incredible.
More important though, I think is what happens next. On day 2 is action. Like we're working together. So I will work with you to build a video. Like we're going to make a video together for your channel. My team is going to record it. We're going to edit it. I'm going to be with the cameraman directing you, saying, okay, say this again, try it like this, like specific action, not just taking notes from day one. And so we help you tell stories on Snapchat, Instagram. We make videos for YouTube, and it's like actual action in the trenches and getting coached. Yeah. And then day three is optional, but people who stick around for day 3 is mastermind for the morning as a group, answering questions, anything we didn't cover that you want to talk about, personal issue, business, anything, bring it up. And in the afternoon is one-on-one with me, where we're going over, you want to interview me for your show, you want personal feedback on something. So it's a 3-day event. It's a huge commitment of my time. Like I'm not doing anything. You won't see me posting Instagram stories. Yeah. I'm super light on everything else that I'm doing. I shut it all down to spend the time with 10 to 15 people to help them
a great idea.
From take their thought leadership and turn it into a business.
No, thanks for sharing that. That's absolutely amazing, and I would say, in my opinion, a priceless thing to have, to be able to sit down and see every little detail behind the scenes thing with somebody that's already been there like yourself. So for you to be able to, like you said, shut down for 3 days and spend like one-on-one time right next to somebody, showing them how to re-record, how to script thing, how to whatever it is an amazing opportunity. It's like I don't know. I don't think a lot of people ever get the opportunity to have like that one-on-one mentorship in life, specifically like that. And I guess speaking of mentorship, have you ever had anybody that you like looked up during this whole entire process when you started initially with your first company? And is there like, did you have like a mentor in your life, or did you just kind of figure it out how you went? And I mean, obviously we know mentors are very important people. They play very important roles in our lives, can help kind of guide us as we're going. Did you have anybody like that in your life at all?
My most important mentors were my parents. There's a picture of them hanging on the wall behind me. For the people in the podcast world who can't see this video, I'm about 9 years old, and my parents are there, and they taught me to believe. They taught me that I was Evan Carmichael. I could do anything that I believed that I could, and so that really stuck with me. They didn't teach me about entrepreneurship or the tactics to run a business, but just how to be a human being came from them, and
so
I'm very, very grateful.
Yeah.
After that, everybody that I featured on my channel has been a mentor to me. For the videos that I put up, I've learned something from each and every one of them.
Yeah.
If I don't, then I don't create the video. And I've had a few people who've helped me with specific things, helped me with some YouTube strategies, helped me with some entrepreneurship stuff, helped me with some, speaking things, specific things that I've needed. I haven't had anybody who's been like an overall mentor for everything, but when I need help in growing in a specific area, I try to find people who are experts in that thing so I can learn from them, because it really shortcuts your path to getting that thing done. Yeah,
absolutely. I think that's a great point. That's an amazing that you're able to have your parents as your mentors growing up. That's really great. I mean, I was talking about in previous podcasts about not being able to necessarily teach passion and teaching integrity specifically are some of the things I was talking about. And I think being able to grow up in such a world where your parents are kind of teaching you that and raising you to be that type of individual is absolutely priceless again. So if somebody's able to have that opportunity to have a family like that, I think that's an incredible situation to come from. However, I'm wondering if somebody, doesn't necessarily have that opportunity, how they can maybe go ahead and find a mentor. And before you answer that, maybe I can tell you myself one thing that hit home again with me, as you said, everybody that you've kind of collaborated with or featured on your YouTube channel has been a mentor in some sense. And I would absolutely agree with that. I've had, like I said, 21 people on here, and I've learned from 21 people, and that's a huge part of the podcast. It's not just disseminating the information, but me being able to learn from other people as well, like yourself, and that's very, very important to me.
Yeah, so I would say if you do not have the parents who are supporting you, you need to shift your mindset from I've lost to this is the best.
Yeah.
I wrote a book called Your One Word, and in there, one of the stories that tells of two different NBA All-Stars. One guy came and he had the best parents of all time, and he said, I'm here because of my parents, because they believed in me and they supported me, and I want to be exactly like them, and everything I do is a tribute to them.
Yeah.
And another guy who came on, and they're both NBA All-Stars. All-Stars. Like, you made it to the show and you're like the best of the best.
Yeah.
The other guy came on and said, I hate my parents. They're the worst things ever, and I never want to be like them. And I'm here because of them. Because of them, I'm here because I never want to be those people.
Huh.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's how you react to it. I think if you ever come from the place, there are other people who say, I had the worst parents of all time, and so I suck, and I'm never going to get anywhere because I don't have the parents, I don't have the education, the connections. And there's other people who say, I had the greatest parents of all time, and because of that, I never had any adversity, and so I'm soft.
Yeah.
And I've been comfortable, and I'm never pushing. It's like the circumstances don't matter. It's how you react to them. Yeah. Are you using it in an empowering way or a defeating way? And so the first step is just recognizing that in order to do something great, you have to have come through some adversity. Like, in order to win, you have to have had some kind of pain. Your purpose comes from your pain. If you haven't had adversity, you never grow strong. Yeah. And so if you are in adversity right now, to shift it, to think, this adversity that I'm right now, this is the best. Like, this is making me stronger. I'm going to come through this like a beast, and I'm going to teach other people how to do it too.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. I'll even give you the example of literally speaking with you. I was very excited to do it as I've been following you for a little while now. And I mean, you're talking, actually, I was looking at your story earlier on Instagram. You were talking about giving an example of when you messed up. And I'd like to think that this, I'm not messing up right now, but I was like, God, I hope I don't I hope this isn't my mess up. Like, I guess I could share it with Evan afterwards if I, mess up the podcast with him or something. But even things like that come up in my head, and, I get kind of nervous about being able to reciprocate the performance via the podcast. So those things definitely happen. You're absolutely right.
Yeah, I think around that, I think people are not afraid to fail. They're afraid to fail in front of other people.
Yeah, it's tough.
And if you can change the story to then think whatever it is that you want to do in life will come with a healthy dose of fear. If you are not afraid of anything in your life, it's not that you are Superman. It's that your life is boring and you hate it.
Yeah.
Like the people who have zero fear in their life hate their life because it's the most boring life of all time.
I couldn't agree more.
And so anything that's exciting for you to do, to launch a podcast, to launch a YouTube channel, to start a business, to ask that girl out, like whatever, it's going to come with fear. And so what I try to do is not say don't be afraid, because you are afraid. I think it's feel the fear and do it anyway. I try to make the future fear just bigger. I make the fear of regret bigger. Like if I'm you, as an example, if you're afraid to have a guest on, like if you're afraid to have me on, you're afraid to reach out, I would just build this scenario of me coming on would be the greatest guest of all time, would blow up your show. Like this would be the greatest thing ever, and you would regret not asking for the next 50 years of your life.
Yeah.
I would make just the pain so insanely big that then the pain of asking or DMing or however you reached out doesn't seem as big. It's like when you have a hangnail that hurts, but then you punch in the arm, you don't feel the hangnail anymore.
Yeah.
That's what I do to myself.
No, that's awesome.
And then force myself to do that immediate thing that feels super painful.
I'm stealing that immediately, and I really like that. That's hilarious. No, I did. I already had a sense of regret, even if I was to be in a position where you just described, like not asking you. Like I would have hated not asking you. So I guess I painted a smaller vision of that, but being able to kind of blow it up and make yourself almost already regret that what hasn't happened. So might as well ask, because obviously if I don't ask you, it's not going to happen regardless, like definitively. So I might as well ask somebody or ask you, and then anybody in their life that wants to do something, they absolutely, if they don't try it, they're not going to succeed. It's pretty easy. And then going back on what you said earlier, I couldn't agree with you more about adversity forging who you are. And a lot of times the people that haven't gone through things, I always see the example of my life, or in my life, of people that maybe have gone, like you see generations, right? Parents that have really struggled and they've done everything they possibly could to make a better life for themselves and then their family. And then their offspring, they do have that better life, but because of the path of lesser resistance, they are not really adverse to going out and really trying hard to make something better for themselves, a life better for themselves, because they have it so easy. So I see that a lot of times as well. And I know that that's something I try to push out into this podcast as well, is try to share my life and some of the things that I have gone through. Obviously, people that have repeat listeners know that I just left my job recently and starting a new job and moved to a new city and things like that. Those are incredibly uncomfortable situations for me, and it took a lot for me to leave a former life and then create a new life for me. So there was a lot of that fear that you were speaking about in my life right now and still now, and you definitely have to learn how to harness it and understand that it's okay to feel that fear, and then again go back, harness it, push forward, and just go through.
Yeah, a couple things come to mind as you were talking. One, it's very rare the kids of great people go on to do great things. If you look at any of the heroes that you have, or the listeners or the viewers, think about who you look up to and love, and look at where they came from. Chances are their parents were not high, crazy achievers at the top of the game. They were maybe really hard workers, but it's very rare that the kids of super successful people go on to be super successful themselves, even though it looks like they have all the advantages, right? Like Michael Jordan, why are his kids not destroying the NBA?
Yeah.
Like, he's Michael Jordan. You get to learn from Michael Jordan for decades. How are you not the best of all time, right? And that's not a slam against MJ. It's everybody. It's very rare that the kids go off to do great things. One thing that's really helped me is when I feel a negative situation coming, when I feel a complaint coming, I try to default to internally saying that this is the best. When something negative happens, it's the best. Like if I'm talking to you here and I cut myself and like I'm bleeding all over, it's the best. This is the best. And just that mindset shift, if you start to believe that it's the best, sets you up in a really empowering way.
Yeah.
And then the other thing that came to mind is once you start getting strong, once you start realizing that, then when you do get hit with a negative situation, I always just tell myself as well that this is just a warm-up. Like, you're capable of way more.
Sure.
Like, switching jobs, if you see that as a big deal and the pain associated with, if you think that pain is a big pain, then you're not capable of doing more. And I think you're capable of doing way more.
Yeah.
Like, this pain is nothing compared to what you're capable of. This is just a warm-up of what you're able to do. And so reframing it to feel like the thing that is all-encompassing, is on your mind, and is this crazy big thing, is actually tiny compared to what you're capable of doing.
Sure.
Helps me get through it and be more empowered to deal with that situation.
Huh. Now that's something I've never had the pleasure of thinking in that manner. I'm very glad that you brought that up. I'm just trying to soak it in now. For those listening, I'm just like pausing to actually soak it in. I'll try to soak it in later while we have more time. But no, that's an incredible point.
Yeah, like if you were around me, man, and we got, and I get a sense. I love your vibe, I love your personality.
Thank you.
Just the mindset. I love everything. If we were hanging out regularly, and you come in and you show up one day, we're having coffee, like, yeah, man, I have a really hard time. I don't know if I should switch this job or not. I'd be like, shut up, Kristof. Like, you're capable of so much more. This is what you're spending your time thinking about. Like, you're able to impact millions of lives, man, with what you could be doing, and this is how you're spending your time, right? And just like thinking the bigger game, right? I think is super helpful to either have somebody challenge you on that perspective, or have some other metric, some other way. Like for me, I might think that I'm thinking big. I might think that my projects, my plans are big. And in my circle, friends, family, I'm doing the biggest of the people that I know.
Yeah.
But then I'll watch a video of Elon Musk talking about having a backup plan for the universe or the planet. I'm like, damn, I'm not thinking big at all, right?
Yeah.
And I use that as a kick forward, not down. Not like I can never be like Elon Musk and I suck. It's more like this thing that I thought was really big is not actually that big.
Yeah.
I need to up my game. And so just having that constant perspective, I think, is really healthy.
No, for sure. And of course, everything is relative in the sense, and I know, you're understanding that and you're describing that within there, like, just because Elon Musk is doing something doesn't necessarily take away from what you're doing. But just like when you describe the hypothetical about, sitting down and having a coffee about me and me, freaking out about potentially leaving a job and creating a new life, and saying that, really you're worried about this, you could do so much more. And that actually does help put it in perspective, like, oh yeah, because maybe I haven't thought about that. Maybe not until, Evan told me that I'm capable of more did I realize that I was capable of more. And I think for somebody to be able to tell you that, then once you hear it once, like now that you've told me this in this conversation, that now going forward, I can have these conversations with myself like, well, remember that one time he told you that you were definitely capable of more. So like, think about it. You are capable of more, and then go forward and apply that to everything else in your life that you come to.
Yeah, and I think having even me, as much as I think I'm capable of more, we always have self-doubts. We always feel like,
yeah, it's natural.
Who am I to go off and do this crazy big thing? It's part of the human condition. And so having somebody, I think we've all felt moments of boldness, moments of courageousness, but it's fleeting. It's not it doesn't come every day. And so to understand what it is that gets you feeling motivated and fired up, if that's doing an interview or watching a video or reading a book or listening to somebody's podcast, for me, it's a video. So start your day with it. Like whatever the thing is that gets you feeling bold and courageous, start your morning with that. Because if you did that, if you started your day feeling bold and courageous, because you don't do that waking up. Like, I don't know, at least for me, I'm not waking up. It's like, yes, Thursday, this is amazing, right? Like, I might feel that now, but I don't feel that waking up. It's a daily reset.
Yeah.
Even if today's the greatest day of all time, tomorrow I'm waking up and I'm tired and I'm groggy and I'm like, what's happening today? And I got to do my morning routine to get into the right state.
Sure.
Figuring out what it is that makes you come alive, makes you feel bold and courageous, and then instead of waking up like an accident, engineering your day, especially the morning, so that is baked in. Because if you woke up for the next year, 365, feeling courageous and bold, holy cow, your life would be dramatically different 1 year from today than what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. Waking up, finding something, whatever it is that just sets the tone for your day, really gets you going. That's a great point. And to be able to do that and implement that day in and day out, I think would really change the progress that you're trying to achieve in your life, and really continue to set the goal and make it become so habitual. Because I think once you start, maybe, like when you're trying to wake up earlier, it's really hard to wake up the first time. So maybe when you're trying to set the tone for your day the first time in this manner, it might be really hard for you. But I think the more you do it, just like all the way back when you started the conversation with me, the more you do it, 5,000 times later, 365 days later, you're going to get up, or a month later, you're going to get up, and it's just going to be like, that's your routine. This is how I, spark my day. This is how I start, and then you'll be ready to crush it for the rest of the day. And that's definitely what I get from that. And I couldn't, back you up more with that. Well, I know, Evan, you're probably out of time here, right?
Yeah, we're bumping up against the clock already. It's crazy.
Yeah, that was real quick.
Time with Kristof flies, right?
Yeah, typically these go 50 to 60 minutes, but 25 minutes was absolutely awesome. So I can't thank you enough for taking the time here. And like I said again in my intro, for those of you that don't know Evan, he's very easy to find online on Instagram or YouTube, but specifically, is there somewhere or some avenue that somebody would like to find you? Would you rather people go find you on your website, or whatever is just particular to that individual listener?
Yeah, I think just wherever you consume content,
Yeah, sure.
If you read books, you can get them on Amazon, YouTube if you like videos, Instagram if you want to DM me. Wherever you're hanging out, I'm probably there too.
Yeah, awesome. I think I would, in my opinion, recommend start with YouTube, because there's some really cool content there, and cornucopia of content even. So that would be my recommendation. Evan, it's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you, and I more than appreciate everything you've said, sharing your life, your background, and I know that everyone listening and watching as well has really enjoyed our time with you as well, so thank you.
Cool. Thanks a lot, man. I appreciate it.
Evan, I'm very excited to continue watching your journey, and hope to stay in touch with you. Have a great day.
I love it, man. Looking forward to it.
All right, man. We'll see you later.